Oh, so you want to know how to shoot cinematic low light sports, huh? Are you at the right place? Hey, hold on though. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I need y'all to like, comment, and subscribe right now before I even go into the rest of this video. Yo, what's up? It's your boy Caleb Shot This, and today I'm going to be discussing how to shoot cinematic low light sports. Cinematic low light sports. We're going to be going over 1. Equipment, settings, and post-production. Keep that in your head. I'm going to put it on the screen. Equipment, settings, and post-production. That's going to be what gets you that cinematic low light crispiness, cleanness. All right, so we're going to talk about equipment. So first you got the camera choice. My camera choice is the Sony a7 III. Okay, depending on what camera you have, Canon or Sony. I say for low light, if you want to shoot low light video, you want to go Sony. That's in my opinion. But Canon works too. But you really want to go Sony because their low light sensors are so advanced and their technology is great. Canon is too, but Sony got a little edge. They got a little edge in that low light though. Okay, so when you got your camera choice, what you need? What you think you need next? What do you think you need next? I shouldn't even have to do this video. What you think you need next? A good lens. Okay, I'm not saying the most expensive lens, but a lens that can meet your requirements of what you want to shoot. So I'm saying if you're shooting low light sports, you want to have a fixed aperture lens, whether that's f2.8, f1.8, f4. You don't really want to have a variable aperture because you're in an uncontrolled lighting situation. So you really want to have your aperture fixed. With a variable aperture, when you're zooming in, it gets darker. When you're zooming out, and it's lighter. You can't control that. And especially during sports, you can't really control the lighting. So you want to have a fixed aperture lens. Fixed aperture lens, whether it's f2.8, f4. There's cheaper options everywhere. There's expensive. If you have that bag, if you have that money on, there's more expensive options too. So yes, f2.8, f1.8. Focal range, it depends on what sport you're shooting. So it's football 70 to 200, basketball 24 to 70, or you can use a 7200 if you're on full frame, but it will be kind of zoomed in a little more. But yeah, all right, let's dive into them camera settings, boy. So this is a big part too. Yeah, you got the good lens. Yeah, you got the good camera body, but what them shaders looking like, my boy? You can't be in there on auto either, boy. You better not go. You better not go out there on auto. If you've been shooting for a long time too, I better not see you on auto. See, the beginners get a pass, but boy, if you've been shooting, you better not go on auto, boy. You better be in manual. Okay, anyway, I'm just joking. Anyway, you want to be focusing on your ISO. Now, like I said, what camera body do you have? Can your camera push to a high ISO without introducing unnecessary grain? That depends on your camera body. Now, I don't know what camera body you have. That's why you need to know your camera and research your camera. But I have the Sony a7 III. So the Sony a7 III can push some high ISO. But do I want it to? Not necessarily. I actually want to keep my ISO as low as possible. I need to keep my ISO as low as possible. So that also depends on what picture profile you're shooting into. So I shoot an HLG3, so my base ISO is 800. If you shoot an SLR3, your base ISO is 800. If you shoot an SLR2, your base ISO is 800. So you're going to start at 800 for the best high dynamic range. That's for the best high dynamic range. So yes, about ISO, you don't want to push it too high to where your camera get that grain. And that's when you need to know your camera and know what your camera can handle. You need to know what your camera can handle. All right, let's touch on the aperture. Like I said, you want a fixed aperture. F2.8, f4. F2.8, f4. If you have to go variable aperture lens, guess what? I did it before. Cook with it. You can cook. You can still cook. But I'm saying if you really want that crispy look, you want that f2.8, f4. And I'm just keeping it real. But it ain't nothing wrong with starting out with a variable aperture, though. It's nothing wrong with that. It's nothing wrong with starting out with a variable aperture. But if you want to cook, you're going to get that fixed. All right, now we're going to go into shutter speed and frame rate. Oh, yeah, these go together. Shutter speed and frame rate. Say it with me. Shutter speed and frame rate. So the shutter speed depends on your frame rate. So say you're shooting 4K 24. That's 1/60 of a frame rate. Say you're shooting 1080/60. 1080/60, that's 125. 1080/120 is 1250. So that depends on what you want to shoot in. You want to shoot in 4K? that shutter speed has got to be 160 for the best motion. The best motion. It's not gonna, you know what I'm saying? For the best motion. 60 frames per second is to slow it down, and that needs to be 125. You get it now? And then 120 needs to be 1250 for the best motion. So when you slow it down, they slow. They going slow and it's crispy. So make sure you have that in mind. What frame rate are you shooting in? Because that's what your shutter speed is going to be in. All right, now we're going to move into that editing. So you expose right. Look, when you walk into your editing room, you need to have the confidence that you expose your camera right, that you had the right settings, that you had the right shutter speed, the right frame rate, not the perfect, but the just good enough ISO. The just good enough ISO. And you want to go in there and color grade. So when you're color grading, you don't want to mess up your shadows, your blacks, your whites, your exposure. When you're messing with that exposure slide, don't overdo it, because then you're going to really cook your footage. Slightly mess with it. Slightly mess with the shadows. Get it to what it needs to be. You really need to Rec 709 your footage, depending on what picture profile you're using. So if you're on Canon, that's C-Log to Rec 709, boom, the color's right there. Sony A7 III to Rec 709, boom, the color's right there. FX3, Rec 709, boom, S-Log 3, boom. All picture profiles have a Rec 709. Some don't, but the main ones, S-Log 3, S-Log 2, have a Rec 709 where you can just get your color right there. Boom. I know a lot of people are on Canon. C-Log definitely has Rec 709. Canon colors are beautiful. So you're set there. And you also want to make sure you have the right white balance. You need to have the right white balance. Okay, say, Caleb, oh my God, I didn't expose right. It's grain in my footage. It's grain. Help. You can save it. It might not look as good, but trust me, you can save it. There's a tool called noise reduction. My bad. I don't know why I'm saying it like that. Noise reduction. It's a tool called noise reduction. So with noise reduction, it kills some of that grain and that noise. So that little grain and that noise. Like I said, all grain's not bad, but if you really didn't expose your footage good to where it has that ugly color noise, boy, you better get that noise reduction up there. I ain't gonna lie to you, my boy. I ain't gonna lie. You better get that noise reduction up there, because you do not want your footage looking like that. Trust me right now. So look, if you didn't expose and you didn't listen to me and you put in the wrong settings, noise reduction is your friend. If you accidentally use the high ISO. All right, last tip I have for post production is adding a LUT. Adding a LUT can make it feel cinematic or give it that film look, depending on what LUT you purchase or what free LUT you can find around. You can even make your own LUT. So find out what LUT you want that fits the vibe for your video, fits the vibe for night, but don't have a LUT that's meant for day and you're shooting at night, so you don't want to mess up there either. A LUT can actually mess up a whole footage too, in my opinion. So make sure you're picking a good LUT if you want to use a LUT. You can leave it at Rec 709 if you want, but I prefer if you want that cinematic look, you need to go for a LUT. Okay. Sorry guys, my camera ended up dying, but anyway, to summarize it, thank you for thank you for tuning into this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you want more tips. If you want more sports video content, need you to go here, subscribe, my boy. And remember, doesn't matter what equipment you have, don't matter what lens you have. Just know your camera, learn your camera, and work with what you have. Okay, and I'm gonna see y'all in the next one. I'm out of here.